Hi friends, it's Amanda Butler and I am one of your representatives for Conway City Council. It has been an amazing 4 years and I count it an honor and a privilege to be one of your representatives for the Conway City Council. We have made great strides and gains to make Conway a better place to live, grow, and to raise a family. As part of City Council, I've been able to work with other council members to create competitive wages for our fire and our police department. We've expanded this beautiful Riverwalk for you to enjoy with your families. And we've also been able to expand economic development with inviting and welcoming new business into Conway. And although we've made great gains, there's still work for us to do. That's why I'm soliciting your vote on November 4th for a re-election to Conway City Council. Conway is a great place to grow, live, and to raise a family. We're Conway strong, and we're stronger together.
Thank you for watching the World Community Magazine's Hour of Power Live on Facebook with your host Edward McQueen and April Garner Davis.
Wow. Good evening, everybody. Welcome to the WCM Live today. Our backgrounds are a little different, but nevertheless, we're going to get some of the exciting information that we think is pertinent for this occasion. And as little as, not as little as is known, but it is known that we're coming up to an election time here. So, but that's a little bit beside the point. We've got with us, and I'm going to let April carry it off, I guess. Some issues, some local issues that need an updating on. And as you saw in the promotion, we wanted to keep you all updated on these new developments, especially in our groups called the NAACP in both branches, Myrtle Beach and Conway. And we have, some representatives from each branch to kind of give us a summary, if you will, or an update on the new developments. And I'm sure you're going to be willing to digest these things. And any questions later on, we send them in our comment box, and we're definitely our guests will be looking at them. So April. I'm going to let you carry on.
All right. Well, thank you, Brother Edward. I appreciate that. And as he mentioned, if you have any comments or questions for our guests, please leave those comments or questions on Facebook or through our YouTube channel. And we want you to sit back and take in all of the wonderful things that we have to hear from two very strong leaders in Horry County who are the heads of two of the NAACP branches. I guess you can kind of call them bookends in a way, and for pretty much the east and the west corridor of Horry County, we have Tiffany Andrews, who is the president of the Myrtle Beach branch of the NAACP, branch number 5568. And then we also have none other than Cedric Blain-Spain, who, if he wasn't busy enough, now he's added president of the NAACP to his repertoire of things that he does all around the county. And he is the president of the Conway branch of NAACP. So let's welcome both of them at this time. Tiffany and Cedric, welcome to the broadcast. How are you doing?
Wonderful.
All right. Cedric, okay, doing great. And so Cedric, hopefully you had a chance to catch your breath.
We try. Good evening, everyone.
There's a lot going on in Conway.
I'm telling you,
It's a cold moment.
he is on skates or a skateboard or a jet ski. He's on something, but we were trying to extend him some grace so that he can get here this evening to be with us and just talk about what's going on with both of the branches of the NAACP. So let's give Cedric a minute to just catch his breath. We'll start with President Andrews. Why don't you, first of all, open up with, it's been a minute since you've been on our show, and a lot has happened over the past, year, I guess?
Year and a half.
Year and a half. And so
It's been that long?
It's been a minute. Yeah, it's been a minute. I want to say we had Tiffany on a couple of times since May of 20.
Yeah,
just a couple, but the Myrtle Beach branch has been very busy doing some things. So Tiffany, why don't you start with just the updates for our audience?
Well, this was a very, very robust year, and I am couldn't have done it without all of the members of the branch. The branch is pretty much not just doubled in numbers, but we're at now like 105 members strong, and even building more and more youth to get involved. But outside of the normal events that we would normally host, like financial management, new home buying, educating people about taxes, wills and estates. This year, we took a pause because at our annual retreat, and wanted to make sure we aligned ourselves with folks that had visions that were very similar to the DNA of the NAACP. So from there, we are forging partnerships. We haven't signed on the dotted line, but there will be some partnerships formed with the Y. Particular programs, Rising Gents and Pools on Wheels for water safety, because African American and minorities, let's just say, just don't quite have that part down pat. And with us being right here at the ocean, even though swimming in a pool is much different than swimming in the ocean, we want to make sure that there's a level of safety that's there. And the Rising Gents program that serves teenage men, young African American men, to give them the tools in their tool belt to live healthier lives and to be, grooming them in the direction of being productive citizens and everything that we want for higher education. And it doesn't even matter whether or not there's 4-year or trade, but making sure they have the foundation of what may be missing at home. You get that home. There's things that we're missing from home that we're not getting anymore because we're not there with our grandparents or our aunts and uncles that live around the corner. However, I just saw the commercial that played. It's election time, folks. Early voting starts October 20th. It's for 2 weeks. And we have, I think, 30 days out. And Cedric will probably correct me. Is it October 2nd or October 4th to be registered to vote?
You're mute, Cedric.
Yes, you're correct, Madam President.
Okay.
The 30 days prior to the election. And that light, if you do it online, you can do it at 12 midnight, before 12 midnight
I knew he would know that date. I knew he would know that date from early voting. To make sure that you're registered to vote. Meanwhile, what we want to make sure is that everyone is educated as to what voters, when it's time to vote, what those candidates stand for, and to make sure that they're truly serving your community. And with that being said, unlike previous years with it being held at Mary C. Canty, our Meet the Candidate event will be at Horry Georgetown Technical College, the Myrtle Beach campus. And this is already on Facebook, so some of you all may have already seen it. Tuesday, October 14th. We are doing things a little different. And I think that's a good thing. And I think 5568 has been an example of different is always being kind of progressive. So giving candidates an opportunity to have a table with collateral and having that one-on-one time with their constituents, which is so needed. And being able to ask for folks to be able to ask the mayoral candidates those healthy questions that are directly related to the community, to local government. Let me say that, to local government.
Well, Tiffany, you certainly spotlighted, a few initiatives that the local branch, your local branch has worked on, and what you're doing in preparation for election season. And also, congratulations to you on, the membership. And I know for both Cedric and Tiffany, it's probably very difficult to recruit for your branches and to get that membership going. But membership is essential in order to make all of these things happen, because the work can't just come from the presidents, and it takes more than 5 fingers to meaning 5 people to make things happen. And so as you look at I'll start with the recruitment piece. As you look at the recruitment for for your branch, and Cedric, you can even answer this as well. What have been some of the challenges? What do you want the community to know about why it's important to be a part of your branches, especially with all of the work and the things that you all are trying to focus on in the community? There's one thing to focus on the work. There's another thing to focus on the issues, and then to try to bring all that to the table to figure out how to handle it all. So what do you want the community to know about why they're needed for your branches?
Well, the main thing that most people automatically go to is lawsuits. And while legal redress, we do handle a lot of cases. The phone constantly rings. I call it line 2, where we have when people can get immediately in contact with us. However, the elevator speech, our retreat this year, it was themed one story, one movement. And with one story, one movement means we have to move in tandem and be able to give that spiel on what is the NAACP. And when I say that is, we deal with environmental justice. We deal with social justice. Veteran affairs, religious affairs, making sure we're taking care of health and wellness. So folks that need affordable health care, there's clinics that are here, even down to sickle cell awareness, education of our youth. And it doesn't matter the age, from pre-K all the way to college. We're working on scholarships. So when I say there is something for everyone within the NAACP, it literally touches everyone's life. And when I mentioned, we're here to serve the disenfranchised and marginalized communities, I mean that, because when a flood happens, we are on those calls with Red Cross and FEMA, identifying the low-lying flood areas, where there's going to be heavy winds. And it's important to me to make sure that folks that are living in the marginalized communities are not without power any longer than someone that's living on the Golden Mile.
Cedric, you want to add to that?
Oh, Madam President has spoken so eloquently on that, and we are the freedom fighters and everything. We are on the forefront and have been here for over 100 years, fighting for the equity, civil rights, voting rights of all the people. And we just want them to know, while both of our branches may have coming through and reorganize and continue, it's just not an overnight process. And even here locally at the Conway Branch, with Reverend Dr. Floyd stepping down as the active president and everything. And we do commend him for his years of service. He's still on, but because of health reasons and everything, we're still in transition. But we need everybody on, because it takes all hands on deck. It's not, this is a lot of work. And Madam President for Myrtle Beach Branch, President Andrews can tell you that we need more than one person, because when we think about all the work, all of the committees of the NAACP, we have several committees that need people. She just talked about the legal redress committee, the educational committee, and everything. We need everybody on it. We need people from all across our branch areas to join in the fight, because we are fighting for the people. We are standing up at the forefront and everything, but it takes all of us together to help make the NAACP work.
You know what I noticed? One of the things that was so interesting to us when we started recruiting for the youth, they didn't know what the NAACP was. So it was that moment of sharing, like, do you know why, well, some of them may not be able to vote, but do you know why you can ride at the front of a bus? Do you understand why you don't have to walk into the back of a restaurant? So to instill into them, for whatever reason that they didn't get before, that this is what we are now. So knowing moving forward, our youth council is going so robust. We had an excellent donor that donated barbecue sauce for us that we were able to have as donations, and they raised like over $700, which is going to help them fund a field trip to a HBCU for behind a college tour and the game. You get it? You're not just going to have fun and no education. There has intertwined. Yeah. So I'm very, very proud of the youth council that's growing. It's very robust. And
right.
Watts family is she's taking that ball and she's like rolling with it. And also, I'm sorry, for the very first time, we don't negate those backpacks to schools, right? But we worked with the WEOC, which covers all of the area, to provide college supplies, the linen, the towels, oh my goodness, even down to like laundry detergent, everything that people need. Now, I did challenge someone at that time. If they came out there with a laptop, I would buy one for them, but they didn't meet that challenge. And WEOC reminds me of, nobody came. I'm like, well, I can't give you a laptop if I can't challenge them for it,
I think it's important for our viewers, especially those who might be interested in either the Conway Branch, which is branch number 5509, or the Myrtle Beach Branch, which is 5568. It's important for our viewers to know what your, boundaries or jurisdiction looks like in Horry County. So, Cedric, will you explain the area that the Conway Branch covers? And then Tiffany, you can pick up with the area that Myrtle Beach covers.
I would say the old area and everything. Madam President has been doing a robust job over there in Myrtle Beach. It used to be all the way anything west of the waterway, but anything that has beach in it is basically under the Myrtle Beach Branch. If it covers Myrtle Beach, North Myrtle Beach, so we have everything pretty much west of the waterway, except for that Carolina Forest area that says Myrtle Beach. And also, if anything has Myrtle Beach in it, it pretty much is in their jurisdiction. We have everything else, is easy way to say it, west of the waterway, Conway, Ana, Lowers, because Lowers used to have a branch back in the day, but they no longer have a branch. So Lowers, all of those areas, Cool Spring, Red Bluff area, all of those places is basically in our jurisdiction.
Okay.
So would zip codes be the defining factor?
Could be, but that's tricky when you get in some of the Myrtle Beach area. Like if you're in the Carolina Forest area, if you use zip code alone, that would then put some persons in the Myrtle Beach branch and not the Conway. But then there's the rule of the NAACP. If you work or live in a branch area, because most of your 8-hour workday is in that area, you can join that branch. And the thing about the jurisdiction is you can be a member, you can be in that area, but if you don't live or work, you can't have voting powers in that area. And that's the key thing. You want to be a part of a branch that you can vote in and everything. And that's why the jurisdiction is so important, because each one of us need those votes in our respective branch to do business, have executive committee members and all of that. So one thing is, if it has an easy way to do it, if it has beach in it, pretty much it's the Myrtle Beach branch. But if anything else west of the waterway, we cover that under the Conway jurisdiction.
Okay. And Cedric, you mentioned a lot of areas. Does that include more rural or unincorporated areas, Bucksport, in your?
Right. Okay. Anything west of the way, Bucksport, Conway, Cool Spring, Lowers, Ana, Gallivant's Ferry, Bayberry, Lowers, Red Bluff. And that's where if you do and zip code, because of where they vote at, the tricky thing when you get to Wampee, Poplar, all those places pretty much tend to be under the North Myrtle Beach. But then that's tricky. Brooksville, all of that, sort of like that.
Okay. Tiffany, is there anything you want to add to that? He pretty much outlined it. I like that anything with beach in it. It's pretty much Myrtle Beach. But I know, go ahead.
Yeah, anywhere where there's beach or water, that's us. But no one has to get worried or confused, because if there's something that he needs for me to know, he calls me or emails me. And if it's something I need to refer to him, I tell that person, this is who you need to talk to. I can give you their number. So us making sure that things are handled appropriately goes great.
And And of course, I want to make mention that there is a Georgetown branch of the NAACP branch 5520 that is under Marvin Neal. He is the president, to my understanding, but he's also regional coordinator. And so I'm sure that we invited him to be here tonight. He had a conflict and could not be with us, but we did have a robust conversation, particularly about the event that the three of you attended last night, and we'll get to that in a minute. But also just about, some of the needs in Georgetown and why it's important that, all of the branches throughout Horry County and Georgetown County have a sense of cohesiveness. And I like the fact that, you all are able to explain your jurisdictional boundaries. President Andrews made the point that if something comes up, that really is something that the Conway Branch should handle, that you have an open line of communication between you and Cedric, and Cedric, you feel that you can call Tiffany as well. And that's what unity looks like. That's how we all can work together to make sure that whatever the issues are or the situations that need to at least be addressed, that it's being placed in the proper hands. So, Cedric, I know that there's been a little sense of restructuring in Conway. There have been some informational meetings and things that have been promoted, and this might be the first time that we've ever had a real chance to understand what's going on from those informational meetings in Conway. So I'm going to give you the floor now to kind of talk about what's been happening since Reverend Floyd kind of passed the baton, because I believe we had him on one time, maybe last year, but we definitely are in need of an update.
Thank you so much. In the Conway area, some things that we are still working on since he's been president, and I'm going to say we're dealing with a lot of systemic racism on this side and in this branch, where families are being targeted in this area, their children, their grandchildren, and we have been dealing with that and meeting with Public Safety Authority over those issues. And I'm going to put a plug right here. When we are fighting for you, freedom fighters, and when residents are not stepping to the plate, and I'm going to say this clearly, can go to fight for you. But when we enter those rooms, once you fill out your complaint form and affidavit, there's a process for us to take over the complaint and forward it through whether we should, as we do the investigative process. But when we go in and then we find out, and one major thing we've been dealing with, I know it's a lot of fear going on, but when residents are not calling 911 or the police, and then we get to advocate for them, there's no footprint. But their assailants are, and the ones that's doing this, they are calling and making it look like the neighbors are the problem, but we don't have any footprint for them. We don't know if they're being abused, they're being harassed or whatever. And that's the issue we've been dealing with here in this area. And it got to a boiling point with one family where the neighbors ran their grandson off the road into a ditch with their car. Now, this is what's going on, and people don't want to face the fact of the climate that we are in and everything. And this, again, why we need everybody on deck, everybody watching out what's going on in our area. And another thing that we, one of the slogans, I can't use one of the words that the NAACP used, it said, we may not be partisan, but you better believe we are political. We are not partisan. Now, I have to wear multiple hats at times where I am partisan, but in this role, as in other roles in the religious sector, we are nonpartisan, but we are political. And President Andrews addressed that with the upcoming municipal election. We can fight for you, but if you don't fight for yourself, if you're not getting out voting, if you're not participating and joining the NAACP from our community, and we just had in our area, we had NYU, which is New York University, civil rights and racial justice lawyers and student advocates, the SCDOT. We also had the NAACP, the state president, and other vice presidents that were in the area in the Sandridge community on September the 11th. Following up with some remediations and compensation for our highway. This is what the NAACP do. And this is why it's important to be members of the NAACP, because you have someone fighting for you. You have lawyers at your disposal if you're a member of NAACP, because we know what the legal battles people go through. So in this area, we have been assisting with the Sand Ridge community with a highway, proposed Conway Perimeter Road. We see what's coming up for the Brooksville area and all with Highway 31. Scheduled the public hearings for that start on September the 30th. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are not at the table, 9 times out of 10, you may be on the menu. And we are experiencing that here in Sand Ridge when sometimes we didn't get information, but in right now, a lot of SCDOT Grand Strand area study, GSTACs, they were doing their surveys. When we put out surveys, we can't get community members to turn in surveys. We can't get community members to participate, and we need people to participate. On the state level, there are over 250 boards and commissions. Even right here locally, it's hard to find people to serve on boards and commissions, but the governor alone have over 250 boards and commissions. We have local boards and commissions that is hard to get people to serve on, but if you're not at the table, then when we find out you're on the menu, sometimes it's a little too late for us, and we're being reactive rather than proactive.
And President Spain, and he is exactly he hit the nail on the head. We get so many calls saying we want you to do something. Okay, first of all, I got a question: who's we, and what is something, and are you going to be a part of that? Meaning, not just you as a person, but you and the community that this is affecting, right? At the end of the day, we all must just really be cognizant that it takes everyone to make a difference. Now, I believe, Cedric and I operate a little different. I believe in making sure that my branch members are meeting our delegation. We go to those legislative receptions so that when we go to Capitol Hill, we have those one-on-one talks with them saying, this is the things that we want. And you know what? And not just there, but even here, because to me, all politics is local. I am a firm believer of do not allow them in your pulpit if they haven't done anything for you, one of your parishioners, your congregants, or someone or your neighbors. And if they're not serving your community, meaning those potholes, when people are redeveloping and those areas are flooding, someone has to stand accountable, especially if they've been in office for more than 2 terms. If they are not serving your interests, vote them out. Give somebody else a chance. It can't be any worse. Aren't your streets still going to be flooded? I mean, aren't you still going to be wondering, is gentrification going to occur to our neighborhood? Are your taxes going to increase? Who is protecting you? But it's only so much we can do. We need your help. And when I say I need your help, I need your help. Now, if you call, I'm going to say, hey, what's the policy? Can you send me a copy of the ticket? What does the handbook say? There's certain things I'm going to ask you because I believe we win based on policies and procedures. Racism, it ain't going nowhere. But I can beat you when it comes to policies and procedures and being able to prove that you handle a situation incorrectly based on the Civil Rights Act. That's the key.
Well said. I think both of you have. I wanted to be a little sarcastic and say overrepresented your, but I don't want to say. I want to bring a little humor on that before. I think there was a certain topic that I think April said she wanted to get to later on in the broadcast. And April, if you wanted to, you can go ahead. I just wanted to inject that in there.
Oh, you want to interject the humor?
Yeah.
Well, Tiffany was deep, and she was, passionate. Cedric's also passionate about, really what the cause is all about, and what the organizations are all about. And I think that sometimes people lose sight of what the organization really is there for, and the various branches that are extensions of the overarching organization. And it's interesting because I was having a conversation with someone the other day about comparisons of the NAACP of yesteryear to NAACP now. And I'd like to extend this question to both of you. As you think about why the NAACP even came into existence and what the fight was all about once upon a time and how hard the fight was once upon a time, do you see any stark differences or even common threads when you compare then to now? What, because it seems as if now people have kind of gotten away from their understanding of what the NAACP is supposed to be about and what you all are supposed to do. And I think you've kind of given like an overarching overview of what the NAACP is all about. But I can't help but think that some people look at the past and say, well, they're not doing this and doing that like they did it in the past. So, what's caused the evolution? And also, do you think that it is starkly different from the way it used to be?
Cedric, you go. You're older than I am.
You're muted.
Don't let that gray streak fool you.
I know that's right, Cedric. Tell her.
And you a lady, so I'll yield to the lady. Yes, I yield.
He yields. Well, I tell everyone that Martin Luther King didn't walk across that bridge himself. It took Protestants, Catholics, it took Jews, it took whites. It was the whole gamut to change civil rights. Okay. So when it comes to that, while you may not see a march, or Cedric may march, I don't march, but it just depends, right? I believe the power is in the ballot box. I'm just telling you. Like I will make sure our legislative lines can't take any more phone calls if there's something that we need. So we sometimes there's a difference in preferences, but I believe the power is in the vote. And when you realize that we really we make up about 23% of the votes, that our vote matters. And getting past that voter apathy, that's very important, because what happens is I'm finding that people feel there's a sense of hopelessness and helplessness. And I need them to know that you are not alone. We are here to help you. If there's a phone call I can make, I'm not going to say, hey, call such and such. You know what I'm going to do? Because I've had people do that to me. I'm going to say, I'm going to call blah, 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 or text them, and then you call them, and they're going to answer your phone. My grandfather taught me a long time ago, it's not who you know, but who knows you. And I use that to the advantage, and I use that to propel our branch. And that is also why we are extremely successful at fundraising and funding all of our initiatives.
Oh, if I had to give ourselves a grade from yesteryear to right now, I won't say it online. I'll text that.
That's deep, Cedric.
Yeah. I'm going to be honest. I feel at times, even though I'm just transitioning to this part, have been working with both branches, that we're falling short. But then people forget we're intergenerational. While that generation, let me say it this way too, we criticize the older generation, but none of us seem to have the backbone that they had. They were willing at any cost. Now we got to understand. Let's thank the first female president of the Conway Branch was Miss Eloise Jones Davis.
Okay.
From her then came, Reverend H.H. Singleton, who lost his job with Horry County Schools under Mr. Dawsey, fighting for the civil rights of people. Not many of us this day, and I understand people have bills and all, they're not willing to put themselves on the line like that. So over the years, our branches have not been at the forefront of really fighting at the aggressive level of our foreparents. And them a debt of gratitude, because we have arrived to where we are because of the Reverend H.H. Singletons, because of the Mickey James, because of Mr. Cab Stanley in the Loris area and Miss Eloise Jones Davis. So if I had to give ourselves a grade, it would pretty much be we're trying to get back on track. It will not be where I think we should be at this point, because I say so much in our community. We are now the Richard Williams and the Anna Austins of our day. We're the old people now. Look at we are that generation, but we are failing those coming behind us because we're not standing up enough. Now, I'm like President Andrews said, now listen, ladies and gentlemen, you ain't getting much marching out of me now. Now you got to come up a different way. Now I know I can probably do some walking and get some weight off of me, but let me tell y'all something. You got to have a new strategy. Now it work in where it work at, but those days it's a different day, and it's a new strategy. Being that intergenerational, we have more to do, and that's why we on board. And President Andrews said it too. You call us, want us to do this or do that, and to be the movers or shakers. But when it's time to move out, who's moving out? Oh, you know, I'm friends with Mr. So-and-so. I'm friends with them. They good people. But when you hanging on a tree, ain't nothing good about that.
My goodness.
People. And that's what we're missing from yesteryear, is that heart for civil rights. And then another thing President Andrews addressed too, I'm going to be honest, whether it be in the political arena or the NAACP, some people don't get involved because it's and I think I saw where Lonquinette Brumel put a slow quote in there. It's that educational piece. People won't get involved. Applied knowledge is more powerful execution, and that's the truth. And an old saying said, a well-informed voter is the cornerstone of a democracy. And when more people get involved, and we finding out, even in our area, one thing we are not educating our children up. There go. I was Mrs. McIver even put up a nice. One thing we are not educating our children because we are not informed as we are being tonight, and that is the truth. And we have failed, and I want to say that's what I think. We don't have the grade we have because we are not really reaching out and informing our young people. And I know you're going to get to the other issue that's coming up, but we need to educate them on the NAACP, why it's important and everything, and how we can fight smarter and not harder.
You know, whenever we go back and forth to Columbia on business for the state, or just traveling together, because, you know, we do travel different places together, we wear our t-shirts with pride. And it's not because we want someone to know that we're the biggest, the baddest, the boldest, and the oldest. It's because that helps to foster conversation. You know, we can stop, let's just say, at a Hardee's. It doesn't matter. And I'll say to that young person, are you a member of the NAACP? And they may say, what's that? And that's when they get the spiel and why it's important and how they got to where they got. Because at some point in time, and I think what messed us up probably was like affirmative action. I think that really made us think our water was cooler. And we wouldn't have to work as hard anymore because we had arrived. But what type of generation have you built? A group of entitlement. And I want you to know that life is hard out there. And the only people that think you are special are your parents and your grandparents. So we have initiatives put in place now. And we even work with kids with their scholarships, filling out scholarship applications, writing essays to say, we care about you and we care about your growth. And you know what that does? That fosters leadership. And that shows that we are invested in you. Now, if we invest in you, I need you to invest in us.
Absolutely. Well, I think that, you know, you both have brought home as far as, you know, what the perspective is. And if we really think about it, like Cedric says, we are still in the fight. It's just a different kind of fight. It's a different day. You know, the fight is happening in a different way. So, you know, when it comes down to comparisons, I was talking to President Neal today after, you know, just kind of touching base with him. And I said to him, you know, it's amazing how back in 96, 95, 96, 97, when you had the Million Man and the Million Woman marches, and that those marches were pulled together without social media, totally grassroots, totally somebody telling somebody, a flyer passed along, a phone call was made or whatever. I don't even think there were websites that actually disseminated the information. And those movements were completely powerful, you know, in that day and time. Now we're we turned the corner. And to your point, Tiffany, maybe we let our guard down just a little bit because of some of the things that we are afforded now and places that we're able to get into. But it's that lack of awareness of where we came from that definitely has caused us now to be up at arms, because the things that are happening now seem to be surprising to us. Why are they surprising? The things that are happening now seem to catch us off guard. Why are they catching us off guard? Why they're catching us off guard is because of the people who are doing and saying these things. These are people that we sit next to and work next to every day, all day. And then there are issues that rise up or things that rise up that tends to show us who these people really are. And so it comes back to now it becomes more of a civil unrest issue that's on top of all the other things that we have to navigate in society. And like you said earlier, Cedric, we're nonpartisan, meaning NAACP, but we certainly are political, because a lot of the issues that are brought to you all are rooted in some kind of politics. They definitely are. So one thing that I wanted to make sure that everybody understands, I think this is a cause for a pause, is that, while we're talking about recruitment and talking about the importance of the community getting involved, again, it's nonpartisan. It's all about, diverse populations who believe in what the NAACP stands for. We're talking to two branch presidents tonight, President Cedric Blain-Spain of the Conway Branch. And if you are interested in finding out more information about the Conway Branch, you can definitely click on their Facebook page and get information, updates, or whatever it is that they're posting there. For the Myrtle Beach Branch, they too have a Facebook page, but they also have a website. And you can go to that website and learn all about the mission, the initiatives, calendar of events, things that are going on. And then, of course, the Georgetown Branch also has a website, and I'm sure they have a Facebook page as well. But I wanted to make sure that everybody was aware that, there are ways to get in touch with our presidents or some member of the NAACP so that you can be a part of everything that the NAACP is moving towards in terms of, civil justice, social justice, and all the things that are still on the table. And so speaking of that, before we get to what we're going to talk about tonight as well, there was a question from Tim McCrae. And he says, is the president state NAACP still trying to make it one branch Horry? When I helped with the Myrtle Beach, that was the conversation. Glad both of you taking the head in leadership. So that has been kind of like, buzzing about in our community. The idea of one branch of an Horry County NAACP. Can y'all shed some light on what the conversation is, or if that conversation is kind of, cold right now?
Well, if that conversation is had when I spoke with her today, and countless other times, that's never been anything that's been said. And keep in mind, you all, like, Horry County is the size of the state of Delaware almost. Like, it is extremely hard with the amount of territory that 5568 has to cover. And I can only imagine with President Spain, like, what that looks like. When you may have like this large number of members, but everyone has like that dedicated 25, right? Exactly. So let's just be real. Like, if we want to move forward and a merger even occurs, everybody's got to work still. It's not going to make anything any easier. Everyone has to play their role. And at the end of the day, we all have to face that one thing that's called integrity. And to me, that's doing the right thing even when no one is looking. So, but sir, have you heard that we're supposed to be coming together?
Not lately. That was the talk when we were reorganizing the branches. And that night in Sandy Grove Missionary Baptist Church, oh Lord have mercy. And I said, listen, I'm just working to organize the branches. We felt like since Reverend Singleton carried the banner for Myrtle Beach and Conway, and it was really the Reverend H.H. Singleton that led the work for the fight. For those boycotts and everything, even in Myrtle Beach, if y'all remember Mammy's Kitchen and everything, yes. That's, and we did talk about it, but some of the Myrtle Beach residents that night when we met in Sandy Grove Church to reorganize the Myrtle Beach branch, there was even the consensus of some of the religious leaders. No, let's work through and let's just keep our branch going and everything. We felt like as we were working to reorganize both branches, maybe just having one unified branch, because that was the talk over the years and everything. But we pretty much adopted the Conway branch as the Conway Horry County branch, because we serve such a large delegation. As she said, no matter where you serve, we all in this together. But that hasn't been the not to merge the branches yet. But now if Madam President see the fit to do so, we'll do what we need to do, because we always say there's a consensus. Listen, really and truly, is one NAACP anyway.
Yeah, but look. Tell me. Seems to me that the unification of both the branches. I mean, the strength is just staring us in the eye there. I mean, that's so strong. I think just with numbers, okay. And I don't know what could divide us, and what could.
Well, you know what divides us, and you already know what divides us. What divides us are us as a people, which has happened through the years. Okay,
Period.
so what divides us? I mean, that started during with being enslaved folks. That's what divides us. You know, someone thinks they're better than the other, or someone thinks I'm smarter, or I'm from up north, they're from down south. You know, sometimes we hurt ourselves. So
that's right.
That is, I mean, we're just gonna call a spade a spade. You know, that's where I see where a division can be. But we're all very much, we're all critical thinkers, but we may have different directions that we like to move towards, or different avenues to get from point A to point B. It doesn't mean that we're not going to get to point B.
I agree with that. I mean, I personally agree, because if you think about it, Conway and Myrtle Beach, although they are so close, they really are, from the standpoint of communities, very far apart. I naturally know more people in Conway because I'm from Conway. I know people in Myrtle Beach because of associations, mainly through professional connections and other people. But I can't say that I know everybody in Myrtle Beach like I know people in Conway. People in the communities in Myrtle Beach function differently. The people in Conway function differently. So it is kind of hard to merge branches and, have the same kind of style of doing things that really works for everyone. I can see that, like Ms. McIver says, the county is too large. Like Cedric says, it's too large. But expansion of in terms of creating more branches, do you think that's something that could be, a point of conversation? Because even when Cedric says he covers all the way out to Galavant's Ferry, that's almost Marion County. And, that's a pretty wide area, even, and even down to Bucksport, you're starting to, step into Georgetown County. And so has there even been any discussions about creating other branches that might help you further? I guess that would be east or north or south.
Again, I have to give it to President Andrews. Listen, it take bodies. And if you create another branch, which there used to be the Lord's branch, and it dissolved, it would help offset the work of one branch and everything if we had them and the bodies working. And we are still in Horry County. I was just with President Andrews and those last Thursday with the Myrtle Beach Human Rights Commission that set on. So that we're working, and we all have to work it together. But I will say we need more bodies. We need more people. And if it comes to where we have to have an additional branches, the county is large. To go from one end of this county to the other end of the county, it take you an hour and something. No, listen, I went from Burgess one day. I was at Merle's Inlet and had to get to Nichols up on number 9, y'all, because of the beach traffic, even with hitting the backwoods. 1 hour and 45 minutes. Yeah. We get calls for action, and things are going on the ground. Again, this is a large county, and it's too large for just 25 people to do the work of the NAACP or any organization. We need. Listen, I know everybody's sick of the song, but let me throw it out there. We need boots on the ground. Y'all, all right. I want to know where your NAACP fan at. Pop there that. Okay. Where your action at? Y'all can get exactly. These trail rides have been full of us people. Okay. Right. But you are not on the front lines of the NAACP where the work needs. You popping fans, but nobody's popping civil rights and leaving it to 5 and 25 people. Then you want to say negative thing. Oh, y'all ain't nothing like Reverend 86 singing. Well, he wasn't on the back of a horse and popping the fan. He was out here marching. And then y'all want us to get it. I appreciate that has its place. Yes. But then let's be honest. We're talking about civil rights and social justice. We got kids right now, several kids that was on a bus being beat in the head on a bus, a black kid in the Conway area. It's hard to make these rounds around the county. The other day, there was an elementary school kid made to go to the back of a bus.
And what he's saying is not far-fetched. He's telling you guys the truth. I know some of the things sound just like, no way. But at one of our local camp, like, I am so blessed to have 2 strong VPs and a great executive committee, because from covering things that happen on the north end, middle of Myrtle Beach, and I still have a job, and on the south end, it's absolutely difficult. But we still have people that own a campground that use the N-word to say, we're not renting this to y'all. You know what we did? At first they were like, the family was appalled, right? They camped there several times. Like, I personally don't know why people give money to people who don't care for them. I would never do it, but it happens. So they wanted their refund. They're like, no, we're not going to give you your money back. The guy, they left. They left. I want you to know they left. And just so happened that gentleman was coming back to Myrtle Beach for another convention. We had been working that case with that campground. And at the end of the day, there's like, are you an attorney? Like, no, but we represent him. And we want to schedule a meeting. Well, we're only going to meet with him. That's fine. Guess what? He's going to be here. That gentleman got a full refund. So when you say you're not doing anything because of somebody who wants to get 5 minutes of fame, and y'all know who that person is. I'm talking about that 5 minutes of fame and their meal. And I don't like when people misrepresent discrimination either. Okay. But, tell the truth about what happens, because all the time, Cedric and I know we both get calls. I'm like, was there any probable cause for that officer to pull you over?
That's right.
Oh, no, ma'am. They always pick up. They target me. They pull me over. I don't know why. And then we drill down further. And then that's when we find out. That's when we found out. So then I just learned saying, well, sir, did you have any dope in the car? Did you smell like anything when their tail light was out? Like, did you? Oh, well, yeah. See, so how I look going to the police, raising, saying, why y'all always picking on such and such? We need full transparency. Don't lie to the NAACP.
That's right.
Because we're going to fight for you, but be honest with us.
That's right.
Don't put you in a compromising position.
And then when we get there, and I get high from the contact,
right,
and I'm sitting there, my eyes crossing,
Cedric,
and then I'm like, we can't help you. Yo, guilty. I mean, it has its place. It's not legal. I'm not against it. I wish it was legal, but unfortunately, in this case, state is not legal yet. But you better know how to go home in your boom boom room or your man or your she shed and do your business. Because when we come, y'all got the wrong one with me. Because I'm gonna tell you, no, I see why you listen. I'm high right now. I'm scared to go back in my car. They arrest me going down the road. If I let down my window, I'm in trouble.
I don't think you
but
were
right.
in this conversation, were you?
No, I don't think they were. I think they were. I know I was. There's supposed to be some updates, but y'all were giving the real deal. This is the real deal.
These are the real, these are the calls. This is like really, really like what we get. And then we really do get calls where something can be mishandled on a job. Right. And there is a civil rights. And I always tell someone, don't say, when you fill out that civil rights complaint form, they don't like me. They don't treat me fair. Okay, lots of people don't like you. Lots of people don't treat you fair. I need to know how your civil rights were violated, specifically what happened. And that's real simple to outline. Can you show me your handbook? Can you show me what your last write-up was? Like, how were your rights violated? Not because that person, such and such should have been promoted before me. I came in first. So maybe you suck at your job. I don't know, but everybody's not out to get you either. And I'm a firm believer that nobody cares about a little black girl tears. But I'm going to make sure I can level that playing field as much as I can for you. But I need you to tell us the truth and give us the facts on why something was violated.
It is really important for us to hear these real life occurrences as far as the types of complaints that you all receive, because I'm sure that everything can't be addressed, or everything is not even, justified for the NAACP to address. And you all have to filter through all of that information before you just step out and say, you know what, we're just going to throw our NAACP card on the table and you better sit up straight because we're here. It's not that simple. And so you're right. From the standpoint of community, really understanding what the NAACP is about, doing your homework, being open, transparent, and willing to answer the questions. I can see why that is so important and why you all need that in order to make sure that you're justified in whatever claims you're making as well, or, whatever outreach or, resolution you're trying to come to for these situations that tend to arise. And, it's a tough position to be in for you all to have a phone that's ringing constantly because of situations like this. And I commend you both for having first of all, the boldness and the bravery to do it, because it's not, I imagine it's not an easy job. But whenever it comes, and it's not a but, whenever it comes down to making sure that the NAACP is strong enough, consistent enough, and sustainable enough to do it, that's also why it's important for the community to get involved and to become members of your local branches. Because, like Cedric said, he's only one person. If he catch a contact, he might have to step to the side so that somebody else can help handle the situation. But we're laughing and joking, but it really is real. And so thank you both for sharing that. And so let's get down to Horry County School Board meeting last night. It was wonderful to know that all of you, meaning Conway, Myrtle Beach, and Georgetown NAACPs, represented at the Horry County School Board meeting last night. There was a public input segment where people voiced their opinions about what happened when David Cox posted his comments on social media. And I'm sure everyone is probably aware of what happened, but basically he used a term that set everybody off in terms of describing what should be done when the modern Democratic Party doesn't step up. And so you two were in attendance. President Neal was in attendance. I watched it virtually, and it was very interesting to see. Give us your thoughts on what happened last night, and also your perspective on what's next.
Well, I do want Cedric to lean in on it, but I want you all to know that that this past weekend we held our branch retreat, and that is, and when you hear Cedric talk about membership and growing numbers, that is when we actually truly form committees and committee chairs, right? And our education committee, one of the things they said, we're going to make the next school board meeting. So that was the thing. We had already met the superintendent at a neighborhood watch meeting, right? And so, we're going to hit up, and we really tried to make things as a collective going around. So we had planned to be there anyway. Until in the middle of the night on Sunday, when we were dead dog tired. I know the branch was tired, because I was tired. I get a text message. I was like, what is going on? What is happening? What are the people talking about? And I'm trying to Google and make sure I can read the story before I send it out. And it takes that type of mobilization. Thank God for a great secretary. Thank goodness for a great EC member to send out blasts to say, let's be there. Let's figure out what's going on, and let's show it for the community. Because that's what we often hear. But we don't see y'all. Guess what? I ain't see none of y'all. Okay, so Cedric, you spoke so well that night.
And did.
Well, listen, we're in for a fight. Yeah. And I saw something in the chat earlier, and there was reference in Horry County. Do you know we have almost 20,000 unregistered Black folks in Horry County? In the state alone, there's 259,600 unregistered. How we handle this, and last night you talked about it in your interview, President Andrews, is voting. And he made it clear the only one that can remove him, and it came on the news, is the governor. No, you need to resign. There are teachers, there are faculty staff members that have been dismissed for even lesser statements on their social media. And we need to understand the real world. When you make a statement even though he's right to say, he can say whatever he wanted, but there are consequences. And when you said if moderate Democrats, first of all, you put a target out. I just referenced that here come a young kindergartner made to go to the back of a school bus. So I'm at a bus stop at 5 something in the morning, almost 6 o'clock, standing in the background waiting to see this bus pull up. And what's going to happen? The kid goes to the bus. Oh no, he want to go to the back. No, he's not sitting to the back of the bus. Those days are over. He's coming to the front. He's in kindergarten. He has health issues. He's going to sit to the front, and don't you ever go to the back of the bus again and everything. This is what we're advocating for. And then we got a school board chairman saying, we know most time who vote Democrat. They are Black, brown, and marginalized people that vote Democrat. You put a target on people back. Then you said you are locked and loaded. That language is inflammatory. It's dangerous. It's reckless. That you're going to be locked and loaded. A militaristic term. You telling people to be locked and loaded. Who are you going to shoot? You're the school board chairman. You're the one at the top that gives command for a school board. And when you use that kind of language, that's reckless. Because now you have just told every person that's dealing with issues, get locked and loaded. If they look like a Democrat, whatever a Democrat is supposed to look like, I don't even know what it's supposed to look like. But if they look like a Democrat, be locked and loaded. You put a target out for every school, all of these schools. I think we're up to 50-some schools now in Horry County schools. You put a target out for every school in Horry County. And as some of the parents said last night, you're now nervous about just the other day when there was some gunshots fired near a school. They won't lock down because somebody was hunting nearby a school and gunfire went off. And then we're asking, and we're not going to stop. He needs to resign. The governor shouldn't have to remove him from that seat. He needs to resign. And again, when we say, as president, you get a text or you hear that we're going to a school board to fight, just as you can get on a trail ride, and some of y'all don't even own a horse and everything. You don't even have a golf cart. You don't even have skates no more. But you can find a ride to get to the trail ride, find a ride to get to the school board meeting, to pack those meetings out, because we're fighting for your children, your grandchildren, because a target has been put on their back. And again, he has to resign, or the governor will have to see justification to have him removed. Those words alone should have him removed because other people have been dismissed. And he even acknowledged it in his interview that 2 members of the Horry County School have been dismissed from their job because of social media posting.
But here's the thing, and folks have, I want everyone to know, like being within the government, I have seen that handbooks have very strong social media policies for employees. It doesn't have it for contract employees. And you go through a more rigorous background check as an employee than you even do when Cedric mentioned like serving on boards and commissions. I was commissioner of higher education. They check everything from credit score to like police record, just everything. That I was like, what in the world? But you go through such a rigorous background check for things, but you're limitless. I know you don't want to hear that, but you are legit limitless. There's no code of, you want to think that there's a code of ethics, right? Or there may be a morality clause I may have had to sign for being higher education commissioner, but it wasn't. But that's why that integrity starts with you and who puts you in those positions, which is our delegation, which is why I say, if they do not serve your interests, we have to find someone in place. That's when that grooming starts, right? Having those, start grooming them from the young. I mean, whatever it takes to get people on board and in tandem with the DNA of, they got to say, if you don't stand for civil rights, you don't stand for me. That means you don't like me. You don't care about my mother's Social Security. You don't care how much he has to pay for insulin. You don't care about veterans who are shell shocked. Like, you don't care about kids that are on the spectrum. I can keep on going. You don't care about SNAP. You don't care about the people in the community that I know. So I can't care about you, which means you do not get our votes. Vote them out. If you won't resign, then the next step is the governor. which means do not give him your vote. Now we have to have folks in place to replace these people.
That's right.
That's where that's the tricky part. That's where I don't see the due diligence being done.
And so it wasn't a heated display last night, but it definitely was one where 3 women spoke poignantly about their feelings surrounding the situation. And what I found interesting about it is that they were 3 white females who stepped up to say, that it was unacceptable what was said. And, when I think about that, I think about what's happening in society right now and who's really kind of under attack. And whenever those women stepped up, they totally spoke from the heart. It was obvious that they were a little nervous to say what they had to say, but they said it anyway. They were bold and they were brave. And to your point, when are we going to all step up and be bold and brave to say enough is enough? And, even in the past, 24, 48 hours, we've heard about what's happened nationally with Laura Loomer saying what she said about Jasmine Crockett, and people just feeling bold enough to say whatever they want to say right now. It's really crazy. And it's all going to roll downhill. So I'm glad that you all were present in the room. To your points earlier, we have to be present at these school board meetings for more than things that are controversial. We have to make sure that there is some type of representation so that we're on top of everything that's happening. And that's from school board to city council, county council, or whatever, because otherwise there are always going to be things that are happening around us or, behind us that we're not aware of. And it takes that mobilization. It takes that unification. It takes people who are really interested in making sure that, civil rights are in place, that social justice is in place, that we're aware of the things that are happening. And I don't know what, and I know that you, Cedric, mentioned what Mr. Cox said as far as, how he can be removed or whatever. I wonder if there is going to be some type of movement in the community, because it is something to really think about when, as the lady said last night, teachers are held to a higher standard.
Right.
And so when it comes down to board members, they should be held basically to the highest standard.
Yes.
And nobody should be above board. Nobody should be, but we're living in a day and time. So I don't know. As you walked away from it last night, and I haven't had a chance to read, some of your comments that were made to the media, but as you walked away last night, how did you actually, decompress from that? And, what conclusions have you come to as far as what needs to be done as far as next steps?
We need to come back to the table. One thing we know, we're going to have to do more of aggressive approach, go back to the school board meeting and address it. But we need more parents and those addressing the issues. Because I'm going to tell you, coming out of that last night and even today, we found out more issues going on. Listen, there are a lot of it, and we do have the petition drawing up. Yes, we do. We have the petition, and you're going to be seeing it shortly. It should be disseminated shortly, going out. But listen, ladies and gentlemen, there's a real problem going on, and we finding out not just from Black and brown people, but the threats that other faculties and staff members are facing because people in power are threatening them. People can't speak out. They're things are happening in this school district. It's a lot going on, not just the school district, but people jobs. And listen here, and when we on the forefront of fighting, then you got, I'm gonna say this as token people. Oh, they my friend. They're not your friend.
They're not your friend. Yeah, and he's right. It's not just at the school district level. It's across the board. It's even in city and county government.
Yes.
And people say, well, they're my friend. They're not your friend just because you have lunch together. Now, I'll say, your friend is somebody who has gone to your house, and y'all have broken bread together. But other than that, y'all just casually know each other. Okay. You would just casually know each other. But there are next steps that can occur. But I don't want us to get this is what happens. There's a shiny light. oh, look at what this man said. What he said was egregious. I do not agree with it. You hear me, Mr. McQueen? I just want to make sure you understand. I do not support the verbiage that he used, nor his excuse, his apology. However, I also want us to stay on the forefront of making sure our kids are educated, making sure they can read, believing, uplifting their STEM score. Like, so there are things we need to make sure that they're at that 98 percentile level. So you can get fired up. I want you to get fired up. I want you to get boots to the ground. I also want you to read to your kids. I want you to be better parents. I want you to take time to help your kids with their spelling, help them with their arithmetic. So we have something we have to also do to educate our kids. I want the kids to be respectful in class. Let's talk about cell phone use. So his statement is not I don't want to call it a distraction, but we have other issues that are still as important that I just want to make sure we're mindful of. That's all I'm saying. Don't lose sight of the educational component that we must be open to embracing and doing our due diligence with tutoring, because and going to those schools, that's one of the things, going to the LMI communities or the outreach, outlining. Oh, yeah, hey, Cedric, you may see me over there in Lawrence reading to the third grade kids. I don't think you're gonna get mad if I'm over there reading, because I want them to see somebody that look like me to care about them. We have to show that we care, that we're there for each other, and to uplift them.
And to that point, you got to understand too. Last night we're dealing with lock and load, but also we forgot committee members made reports last night. There's the curriculum committee. How many has been to the curriculum committee meetings? How many has been to policy meetings at Horry County schools? And I know we can't make all of them and everything, but the curriculum committee, let me tell you, even right now, let's go back even a year or so ago when they started out with the religious course. Take your students out for 1 hour. You have to pick them up, provide transportation, and do that. How many African-American churches we try to get on board to take kids out to go and read with them, to educate them and everything? Can't get them to do it, but others are picking their children up. But then we want us to fight for them and fight for your children, but then we need everybody to come to the table. We need you to do your part and everything. If the school district is allowing students to leave to go take a religious course and everything, and everybody else doing it, and we are not doing it and everything, this is a sad reality. So there's a curriculum committee. When they're setting the standards for curriculum and things that are going on, and again, if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. It's too late to come to us. And one lady was up this, she spoke about Finlay with the students with testing and everything. If you are not up on what's going on and at the table as a parent, do you know the weight that one parent carry with a school? One parent. I know what, because I used to work in the school district, and we had one mama come up the street every day. She come up the street because they was in a wealthy community. She ran that school. But I told she didn't run me and everything. I wasn't no hound dog, so I went out there hunting for her and everything. But the thing is, the parents, we do everything else, but we got a curriculum committee, we got the policy committee, and one way you get this and to deal with this man and with this statement, then we got to start showing up.
We got to start showing up. We have to start serving on these committees. We got, and it can't just be us. It can't just be our faces. I mean, but there are so many open commissions and committee seats that we have to be present for, and we have to be the voice. I know this is so cliche, saying being the voice for the voiceless, but they ain't voiceless when they're able to call and find out what funeral home got somebody's body.
Okay.
You're not voiceless then, so I need you to have a voice now. And don't say, "Oh, I didn't know." Now I know we talked about it. We're in a digital age. Like, hey, it's on the website, it's on Facebook. Yeah, I know that we believe in paper, passing things out. But what you want to know, you will find out. And don't say you don't have no money. My Greeks is on the call. You can't say you can't be a lifetime member of the NAACP or join, because I know how much conventions cost. I know, and for HBC, I know how much it costs when I get my room, get my hair done, my nails done. So you got the funds, and you got the funds to even put out. April, didn't I do a scholarship one year?
You did. You did. You did.
I said, I'm going to make a personal investment in our youth. And I didn't do it in the name of my family. It didn't matter whether I was from Horry County or not. I did a thing called Tiffany. So put your name and your money in the same place. And I want you to get up and show out and to help each other and to help this community grow.
Yeah, I know we are approaching our time frame here, but no.
We good, Brother Edward. There's people that are still chiming in.
I'm saying that as a prelude to what I really want to say, and let people know that I'm reminding us of it. But we can get back to the point of what Cedric said about if you're not at the table, you're on the menu. The World Community Magazine and others have seen to it in the past, especially during summertime, where we've endorsed, put it that way, more representation to be attending the Conway City Council meetings. Okay, and in fact, April, we used to have 2 students on there who would give us a report some time ago, right? The Porterfield twins, for example, and they would come on and give us a report every Tuesday, every time they would have a city council meeting. So it seemed to me, and the last time I was there, but the students were not. I mean, they had other obligations because they're still in school, but there was a residual of that. And it's seemingly now there are at least 2 people from the community that I see sometimes on the broadcast that's in attendance at the city council meeting. To me, that's a big step, because at one point we never saw anybody from our community. Okay, so what I'm suggesting, and just something to explore, that maybe the NAACP could share a role like that and sponsor a representative at the school board meeting, whenever that occurs, I don't know when, and the city council meeting and the county council meeting. Okay.
Well, sir, we already do that at 556.
Yeah, and have them report back.
We do that. I said we do that with our branch. We attend those meetings. We do attend, but we would love to report back. Or, we also, hey, here's a bold message. How about you go to our Facebook page and read and see the pictures and get the, blow by blow of the things that we've done. I mean, I'm just saying, we put the information out there. Wherever we go, we try to share. I got a great idea. Come to a branch meeting. Cedric, don't you want some people at your branch meeting?
Yeah, need them bad.
Okay, all right.
Okay. Well, get the information out there to tell the people. Say, look, we have information that we think is pertinent information that we garnered from the Conway City Council meeting on that Monday, or the Horry County Council meeting, or especially the school board meeting now. Okay, if you can get the word out, and not everybody's enjoying Facebook, okay? Not everybody's out on Facebook, okay?
Well, I think for a postcard. I'll
say this.
We gotta take some risk, okay? We gotta make some sacrifices and time and risk.
I get your point, Brother Edward, but I also think that, to Tiffany's point, what she's saying is, her branch, for example, they attend that, and then that information is disseminated through the branch meetings and all of that. And I'm sure Cedric is disseminating that kind of information through his branch meetings. And in order for people to get that information, join the branches so you can get that information on a regular basis. The same way that we're asking NAACP to be a part of that, maybe we need somebody who's employed or an intern for World Community Magazine to be that person who is going to these meetings so that we can disseminate it through this platform. But they're already stretched. They're already saying, that they have, problems with getting enough people to join so that these kinds of things can be taken care of. And I just think that, what we've seen tonight is a true example that there is so much for us to contend with so little people. So there's just a little bit of people who are actually in the fight to deal with it. And we've got to do better. We've got to do better as a culture. We got to do better as a people in order to make sure that we do not get left behind, that we don't become, like Cedric says, the menu, that we are not, that we're not the last to know, that we're not caught off guard. It seems like we're always caught off guard. And so, maybe we can get the NAACP branches together for maybe a summit of some sort. I'm throwing it out to the two of you first, and maybe have some things that we can come together on to figure out how we can get people together to get them mobilized and get them signed up for committees. And I'll be more than happy to do what I can to assist both branches in doing so.
Thank you.
And I just think that this has been such a wonderful conversation, so real. And we got to have more real conversations like this. We can't afford to sugarcoat anything. We can't afford to always play nice. I think it's time out for that. We really need to make sure that everyone knows about the critical issues that face us in our community. And so I just want to thank both of you for agreeing to be on the show. And I will say last minute, it was something that was kind of like, we didn't know if we would be able to have a show this week. And I want to thank Priscilla Fuller, who is watching tonight, for helping me in terms of trying to pull our thoughts together on what we could do. And I was like, you know what, we need to hear from the NAACP because there's a lot going on. So thank you for being so gracious for being on the show tonight, especially you, Cedric, because I know that you had some other things going on. But we're going to continue this conversation later, and we can get together, like Tim McCrae says, the state of our community or whatever.
Yeah.
Miss McIver says, she says, send me notices and she'll disseminate to all the churches and as many parents as she can reach. And that's wonderful. Tiffany, Cedric, y'all can send information to me. I'll send it out as well. So just, thank you so much. And like Reggie Dyson says, please show up to these meetings. You're right.
Yeah, because I want y'all to know that we do an agenda. Each committee submits committee reports. That means whatever they've done that month. I want to make sure all the members know, So they so before each meeting, we do those committee reports. So you get them in advance, be able to read through it. So because each person, you can't do your roses and thorns in like just one meeting. But, I get tired. I don't know how Cedric feels, but I get tired of being the only person of color on these boards. Yes. When I went through the redevelopment of downtown, advanced housing plan, there was 2 other minorities that was listed. And I'm like, where are they? Because I'm concerned about gentrification. I'm worried about taxes going up. I'm calling to make sure that there's the anti-displacement laws in place. I can't, guess what? I don't even live there, but I'm still fighting for you. But then you're going to say, NAACP got to do something. Man, I'm trying to make sure you're able to keep your family house, and that ain't enough. And the people who your neighbor you went to school with didn't even care enough about showing up. Join our branches. That's right. Get involved. That's right. We're gonna put you where you're gonna want to be. Because again, if there is a mother that needs Pampers, or I'm just an example, if there's someone that needs immediate housing, we even get calls for that. That's right. And we're there to answer calls for the community.
Right. You had your email up there, but do you have telephone numbers of each that you'd like to share? Direct numbers that people could.
Sure.
I mean, they do, but I can appreciate wanting to put their phone numbers out there, but we really need to send them to these websites so that they can, so that people can see the information. It's easier to disseminate that way. And so, Cedric, thank you for sharing your website address for the Conway NAACP. And I'm going to show them again, Myrtle Beach NAACP.
And our phone number is 843-380-9041. And that is listed on our website. And that is also listed on our Facebook page. And you will receive a call within 72 hours.
And this is the Myrtle Beach branch?
Uh-huh. And that's on our website and our Facebook page. Okay. You will receive a call within 72 hours. And it's probably going to happen within 24 hours. We have standards and we're there to meet the call. But when we call you, we need to hear from you. Horry County is very transactional. Let's make sure it stays transactional. Yes.
Well, thank you both for being here tonight. It certainly was a pleasure, and hopefully the next time we can. Yes, go ahead. Sure, absolutely.
Listen, the public hearing is scheduled for Tuesday, September the 30th. 2025 from 5 to 8 p.m. at the North Strand Recreation Center located at 120 State Highway 57 South in Loans. The meeting will also be streamed. This is in reference to the public hearing for Highway 31 Expressway into North Carolina, starting the future port-to-port route, the North Strand Recreation Center in Loans. There on physical, they call it Loans. We still call it Little River, Stevenson Crossroads. If anybody in the area and everything, they kind of got us when they did that Loans post office down there. They call it, but that's Stevenson Crossroads right there at 57. Ladies and gentlemen, you know what we're dealing with here in Sand Ridge. And the other night, the plan for route, the cell project, the Southern Evacuation Lifeline, that came out from SCDOT. Do you know they have 4 conceptual routes planned through Brown Swamp, 4 through our community, others coming out in Bucksville? Ladies and gentlemen, when we say come to these meetings, you need to get to these meetings.
Because the infrastructure is not there for this, guys, and that's the scary part.
Right. And Andrews talked about it. And some of these commissions, by law, they have it with who can serve on it. But you can go to these public input meetings and you need to fill out those public cards. You may not know everything to say, but you need to say something. Because what happened in these meetings, we found out even with our community, let me be honest, the people did not turn in enough public information cards. And they said, had y'all done this, you could have done more to stop the highway. But we only got X amount of input. Don't just get the form and say, I'll turn it in. When we put the link up on our websites or on Facebook page, go in and click that. Y'all find the next rump dancing.
There you go.
Lord help.
No, you're right. And whenever there is a community meeting, we have posted and shared community meetings to the point that people thought it was an NAACP meeting.
Right.
And I need it to be like that for every meeting. You know, like to be present. Like you can do it. I know you can. You want our help. We want to give you the help. But we all got it. At the end of the day, we are a service-driven organization that fights for civil rights.
That's right. That's right.
Another hat right now, right quick, like on Tuesday, October the 7th at 6:30, registration begin at 6 o'clock, is a new Horry County Democratic Party convention. Let me put on that hat. Ladies and gentlemen, you need to show up. Tuesday,
and where's that going to be?
At Conway High School, Tuesday, October the 7th, 2025, 6:30 p.m. Registration started at 6 at Conway High School, 2301 Church Street. That's another meeting. You need to show up and be ready to vote. This you party leadership and everything. This is what's going on in our county. You need to show up to the transportation meetings. You need to fill out the surveys. And let me tell you another survey we don't fill out. That's the Army Corps engineer.
Yep.
They put out the survey. Our community, we are failing in submitting those reports. So when we get there, they'll take our community, but they'll build subdivisions on wetlands, but take ours for wetlands mitigation and all that kind of craziness and everything. But we got to fill out those Army Corps engineers. If you're along Highway 57 and they get ready to try to come for your property for 31, Army Corps engineers report, those public information reports on Tuesday, the 30th, y'all need to pack out that building and you need to fill out those public information forms. You need to complete the Army Corps engineers report. The NAACP will fight for you, but you got to fight for yourself. And I'm going to say it in my conclusion, I'm going to say what Reverend Dr. Nelson Rivers said when he was with the NAACP. Feed the dog that bark and bite for you. That's why you need to become a member, because we barking and biting for y'all out here. We doing more.
I heard that. Cedric, I've been asked to remind you about to talk about the fish fry.
Oh yes, coming up on Saturday, the 27th.
27th.
Right at we call it the Bellamy Field. Right there in Conway from 11 to 4 p.m. is the NAACP Conway Branch 559. We have our fundraiser, the fish fry. All right, by chance you have joined or didn't join, well, come get a fish sandwich for $12 then. Put that towards your, get a fish sandwich. We can't get you to join, but maybe you'll come get something to eat because we out here fighting for you. So y'all come on. I told you, feed the dog that bark and bite for you. So feed the NAACP, the freedom fighters. Come on and get that fish sandwich. Y'all know y'all love fish.
Get a fish sandwich and join the NAACP.
Yeah, and I saw Miss McIver. She said, "Get that fuss sandwich. Get that fuss."
I see it. Now I think on the 28th October. I think on October 28th, we are going to. We are going to try to plan a a candidates forum for Atlantic Beach. That's not official yet, but a town hall meeting, not like a meet the candidates actually. And that's the next day. So it'll be October 28th. That will be for October, but that's not set in stone yet. The only one that is set in stone, obviously, is for Myrtle Beach, which is October 14th. So we're bringing them to you.
Yeah. Let's say before we go, Cedric, there's some clarity I think is needed here regarding the location for the fish fry. You said Bellamy Field, but nobody knows. I mean, a lot of people don't know. Are we talking about at the intersection?
Yeah, at the intersection next door to the old Whittemore Park Elementary School.
Okay.
Now, that's another story where we need to show up, because that building was now changed to the Rivertown Complex. That's another whole nother show. Ladies and gentlemen, it still should be Whittemore. But let me digress there and talk about this fish sandwich, the fush sandwiches, Gullah Geechee people. That's Saturday, September the 27th at the end of Highway of 16th Avenue. Is Miss McIver still on? Tell her I haven't lost it since she was our principal at the schoolhouse. I haven't lost it. Come get your fush sandwich. Y'all go, they're gonna be the head and the tail on the fush. So yeah, so come on down. But that's at the end of 16th Avenue, right at Wrights Boulevard, right between Brown and Rue Street, next to the old Whittemore Park, Middle School. Because somebody said, Whittemore Park, don't go out there on El Betha Road, because we talked about them people being locked and loaded. Don't go out there looking for no fush.
Right.
They're on Wrights Boulevard, right there.
All right, and then somebody asked Calandra Jones from Columbia. She wants to know, are they going to be spots? What are you frying?
I just put down that flyer. I think they just have whiting. I think that's what it is.
That's still good too.
Miss Priscilla, clarify. I think it is spots and whitings. Yes. Okay, thank you, McIver. I love you. Listen, I'm Gullah Geechee now. I may not speak it as fluent as Miss McIver, but I am a proud Gullah Geechee. I love it. Okay.
Yes, absolutely.
Now you for no, how you talking? You better for no.
This is awesome. Absolutely. Y'all have been incredible tonight. Thank you for all the public announcements. Miss Priscilla says whiting and flounder for the fish fry. So come out. Whiting and flounders. All right. So, but this has been great. I also want to make an announcement for tonight so that everyone will be aware. We have locked in the candidates for our Conway City Council Meet the Candidates virtual forum, which is going to happen on Tuesday, October 21st, right here on our streaming. That's Tuesday, October 21st at 7 p.m. You will have an opportunity to hear from all 4 city council candidates. Please mark your calendars. It's going to be broadcast during our regular broadcast. Again, I'd like to thank Priscilla Fuller for her assistance with putting this together. We will hear from the candidates. You will have the opportunity to ask some questions. It will still be a live feed. And they're all very excited about meeting with the public during this virtual forum. So, Tiffany, you got it covered on the Myrtle Beach end. We got it covered on Conway. We're going to hit Atlantic Beach. Anybody else we need to hit?
North Myrtle Beach.
North Myrtle Beach. Okay. All right. Yep. Well, mark your calendar. We'll be putting this flyer out. It's roughly, less than a month from now. So you have plenty of time to clear your calendars for this virtual forum, and also for the event that is happening on the 14th. You have plenty of time to clear your calendars for that if you're interested in coming out to hear more about Myrtle Beach City Council and also the mayoral race on the 14th. So I can't say enough about you two. We're going to have this as a regular segment because y'all kept everyone's attention for almost 2 hours. And I think we could talk. We could probably talk all night, but I know everybody has to get ready for work and school and everything else tomorrow. So thank you all for being a part of this. Remember, this broadcast will be available on wcmagazine.net for the next week. So please share it so that everyone can hear more about the presidential updates or hear it if they hadn't heard it before. And we'd like to thank all of our viewers tonight from far and near. We appreciate all the input and encouragement. Cedric and Tiffany, please continue to do what you're doing. You're doing a fantastic job. And we will pray for your safety and also your strength through all of this. So thank you so very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Sister.
Yeah. Brother Edward, you have anything to say once we get ready to take us on out?
I'm just left in awe now because I mean, this information that is going to do everybody some good. And we got two wonderful people there who I have a lot of respect for to the highest, I believe. So we want to thank them for appearing on our broadcast tonight to disseminate that kind of information that's very much needed, and accepting some suggestions that were brought forth. So again, thank you so much. And yeah,
and if you,
Godspeed.
And also, yes, I want to mention one thing. If you do have any topics or issues, anything that you would like for us to cover during our Tuesday night broadcast, please let me know. We're trying to pull together our broadcast calendar for the next month, and we do have some slots available and into November, and we do have a lot of critical issues that we could talk about. We also want to feature anything that has to do with education, medicine, arts, history, you name it. But just let us know so that we'll give you what it is that you're looking for. So thanks, everyone. Have a good rest of the week, and we'll see you next Tuesday night.
Peace.
Peace. All right.
Thank you for watching the World Community Magazine's Hour of Power Live on Facebook.